In this video, we're going to install this bronze shift rod bushing for the classic VWs, and we're going to install, this is made by EV4U Custom Conversions. We're going to install this in the vehicle using their installation tool. So we're going to show you how this is done. There's another video on YouTube on our channel that shows you how to remove this shift rod, but we're going to do that real briefly, show you how to remove the shift rod, how to install this bushing. So stay with us. First thing we're going to do is we're going to remove these two bolts that hold your stick shift lever in place. It's a 13 millimeter head on these, so you'll need a 13 millimeter wrench or socket to remove them. Before removal, you're going to want to mark the tunnel and your plate there so that you have a reference. I'm not going to do it here today on this one, but you would want to make a reference mark here. I typically make one both directions. So this is going to be for front to back, and this will be left to right. You don't have as much movement left to right. It is a slotted hole, and it's slotted for adjustment front to rear, and it will save you a lot of headache if you make a reference mark on here so it goes back into place. So we're going to remove these bolts, and we're going to pull off the stick shift lever, and you'll see when you do this that there's a spring under here, and that's the reverse spring, and so it's going to want to push up. So you can see that's what it looks like inside. Whoop, popped out of the little socket right there. So there's the spring, this is the ball. It goes into a little socket here. See that? Now, this piece, you're going to want to make sure you take note of how it's placed in there, because this is going to determine it's your reverse lockout. And so make sure you notice how it comes out when you're disassembling. Now, I'm putting these bolts back in here because we don't have our hanger spot welded in place here in our mock-up. So we're using the bolts to hold it in place. It won't affect what we're doing. So anyway, next what we're going to do is we're going to need to remove this shift rod from the tunnel. And depending on the vehicle that you have, model and year, will determine whether or not you have to remove the front bumper or not, so forth. So you're going to have to remove the cover plate on the end of the tunnel. In the front of the vehicle, on the pan, you'll see that cover plate, two bolts hold that on. Then there's a cover plate inside the spare tire well of like the Bugs and Carmen Gias, and then there's the plate on the very front of the vehicle that needs to be removed also. And then this shift rod then is removed out the front of the car. And like I said, we have another video that shows you a quick, easy way of doing this. I'm just going to pull it out of our mock-up by hand here. Refer to our other video for how to do this. So now let's take a look at what you get when you order the custom shift rod bushing kit and installation kit combo from EV4U Custom Conversions. So when you purchase the custom VW shift rod bushing kit and installation kit combo from us. It'll come in a padded mailer. Simply remove the kit from the mailer, and this is what you receive. Inside, you'll find your invoice. There's this piece. You'll see what that's used for in a moment. You can undo the masking tape that holds the string in place here. And you can undo that. And you can see this is all that it is. Then you also have a little bag with a couple of wires in it, and a little piece with another little string. All kind of strange looking pieces, but you'll see what they're for in this video. So there's two different wires right there, and another piece with a string. You also get, and this may not come in the future because you'll have this YouTube on video now, or on YouTube I mean, to refer to, but historically they've come with a flash drive with two videos on here. One is the installation video using these tools, and the other is how to remove that shift rod quickly and easily, as I've referred to. And then last, you have the bushing kit, and it's that impregnated bronze bushing with the retaining clip. So now let's look at how we actually install this in the vehicle. So here we are with our mock-up pan tunnel setup here. This is the front of the car going that way. This is the hanger here. The shift rod lever would be right here. So that's the rear of the car. This is the hanger. We need to put this into the hanger. And to do that, we're going to slip this bushing onto this piece right here. And we're going to do so this fashion. We're going to put the string through it first, and then it'll slide right on there. So that's the way it's going to be, with the shoulder up against this end cap. Okay? So once you have this in place, we're going to insert it down in the tunnel. And so I'm just going to kind of give it a toss in there a ways. And then we're going to need to take this string, and it needs to go through here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of my wires, I just straighten it out and put a loop on the end, run that way, and then try to catch the string. There we go. Then once I have the string on the outside here, I'm going to pull this, and I'm going to pull it into place. And it will come up like so. So then, and you can see how that's going to go and support that bushing. You see the bushing there? But before I go too far, I need to put the clip on. And so let me show you how we're going to do that. So the clip is going to be done using this piece right here. This is a spreader. This is our clip. We want to attach the clip in the vise. Make sure you make it nice and tight. We're going to stick one leg in there, and using vice grips, we're going to grab the other side of it here Now I recommend that you wear eye protection for this part of it here, so that this clip, see, I can see it coming out of the vise already. Means I need to get a little better grip on it. And there you go. Get it on there nice and good. And it's spread. Now, remove it from the vise. And we're going to slip it over our insertion tool. So once I have the clip on the spreader, I need to put the string from our insertion tool through the clip, and we want the clip going towards the bushing, not the spreader tool. Okay. Now, let me show you this. There's a hole in our insertion tool there. See that? And it goes all the way through. And we want to have that hole line up with the front mounting hole. That's the front of the car. So that we can stick a screwdriver through this hole and hold this insertion tool in place. So I'm just going to slide it forward, put my screwdriver in, and bring it in place. You may need to rotate this a little bit, get it to line up. There. And there we have it. Pull this back. And so, using the screwdriver, I'm pulling all of this that direction, holding this bushing into the hanger. Okay? So with one hand I'm going to do that. With the other hand I'm going to push this clip onto the bushing. And you're just going to start in one spot, usually away from that spreader tool, 180 degrees, and just go around with your finger and push it on there. And I go around as far as I can on one side. I'll go around and do it on the other side. And do it as best you can, as far as you can. And then, when you get it on as best you can with your finger, you're going to take a screwdriver. I use a flat tip screwdriver, and go in there and push it on. And remember, you're going to work both sides. I'm going to have to walk in front of the camera again because I can't see this other side from that direction. So at this point you can be shining a flashlight in there to kind of see what you're doing. But I'm pushing that in place. And then you'll keep doing that till you get it all the way in place. And when it gets all the way in place, you'll hear it snap, and bingo. Hopefully that wasn't in front of the camera. And what happens is then the spreader tool pops loose, pull it out with the string. Then go around and make sure that this is fully in place. Boom, it wasn't. Yeah, I heard it click, it is now. So you can do that by walking the bushing around. So I can rotate the bushing in there and make sure that it's locked in place, which it is. I heard it click, so that's your indication. So once it's in place, you can remove that screwdriver slide the insertion tool out. Once that's out, you can take your wire, go in, grab the string, insertion tool, everything comes back out. What you're left with is the bushing secured in the hanger. Now, I'm trying to do this from an odd angle, trying to stay out of the way of the camera and everything, so it's a little more difficult than it needs to be. But it's a little difficult in the car too, because you got seats in the way and you're, you know, kind of on your hands and knees trying to do this. But it's really not that bad. If you take your time, do it slowly and carefully, like I said, 45 minutes, start to finish the whole process. That's the average. Some people will do it faster, some may take a little bit longer. So let's move on to the next step. Now this is where you can use the wire again to help support this rod and guide it into the bushing. See that? And then it will pass through the bushing. This is a clearance fit, so it should slide in without undue force. You can see then once it's in place, next we would just put the stick shift lever back in place, adjusting to our alignment marks. And here's the bushing in place in the hanger, your shift rod, your bushing, your retaining clip, this stick shift lever, everything's back in place. Everything operates very smoothly. Much less effort than before, very clean. So this is a one-time fix, and you should get a lifetime of service out of this component.